I was very sensitive about people's behavior. That's the essence of advertising, to have your senses all the time aroused and to listen, to feel the things that people don't say, to try to expect and to predict their behavior.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Leumi Tech, sponsored by Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Turing, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and in media partnership with C-Tech. This episode is about advertising and marketing. Meet Robby Nissan, co-founder and chief business development officer of Fetcherr Ltd. Robby brings 22 years of experience in the advertising and marketing industry in Israel. Former chief creative officer in TBWA and former founder and head of strategy and creative at HAVAS. Robby has vast experience in commercial and political campaign management and as a senior strategy consultant in the Wolfson Foundation and other international organizations. Robby Nissan, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you today? I love the background that you have behind you. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's not a virtual background. Actually, I'm like,
Yep.
my dream all my life was to live in a record store. So once I had my own office, instead of changing photos and pictures all day long, you just change the covers. You can change the whole design in 1 second.
I love that. What is it about records that you love so much? Why records?
It's a good question. Except of the really, really crunchy, rare, special sounds that only records can provide, that's the easy answer. I can tell you that these days, these generations, they had playlists most of the day. Now, when was the last time that you sat and gave an artist the honor to listen to his whole album? You can't listen to Pink Floyd in a hit list, okay? It can't be before Ricky Martin and after Maroon 5.
It doesn't work.
So I sit and I have this
Exactly.
40 minutes of something.
I love it. I couldn't agree more. And I'm particularly a Broadway fan, and it's impossible to take out a song and just listen to it. You have to understand the story, the context, and especially when you're talking about artists like Pink Floyd, it's all about the context, which unfortunately is lacking in some of today's listening habits. But we're not here to talk about music. We're actually here to talk about pricing, intelligence, and Robby's journey. And so tell me a little bit about how you even get yourself into the tech world and specifically into this idea of demand prediction and pricing intelligence.
Okay. It's a good question because I did most of my career since I was 22 in the advertising industry in Israel. I started as a copywriter in TBWA Tel Aviv, and I ended up by being the chief creative officer of TBWA Tel Aviv, and then I moved and was one of the founders and the chief strategy and creative of HAVAS Tel Aviv. It was called in Bar Merchav Nissan. And most of my life I was very sensitive about people's behavior. That's the essence of advertising, to have your senses all the time aroused and to listen, to feel the things that people don't say, to try to expect and to predict their behavior. Now, I didn't know that in the other world where machines, they're doing the same things in other industries, such algo trading and all these places and NASA. But I grew up by always trying to be one step forward than the competition by understanding what will be the next need, the next demand. Now, one of the decisions that I've made when I left the advertising world, when I became 40, is that I'm going to dedicate the next 40 years of my life, or the second 40 years of my life, to break each and every glass walls that I put in front of myself in my first 40 years. You
I
know,
love that.
when you're a creative person, they always tell you, you do the creative. You don't understand nothing about money. You don't understand nothing about business. You deal with the creative. You're the talent. You know nothing about clients. You know nothing about this. And all the things that I told to myself, you don't know how to, you don't have talent to play guitar. You don't have talent to learn another language. Okay, so you, all the time, the society and yourself are putting glass walls. Now, it comes to a point when you reached all the peaks that you wanted to achieve, that when you're asking yourself what I'm going to do in the next 40 years, I'm going to take one big hammer and I'm going to slam each and every one of them. So I learned to play electric guitar. I'm not a talent. I'm not David Gilmour, but I cannot even warm him. But I'm really enjoying myself. I know 4 languages. I even bought a drill because my wife doesn't let me even put a nail because she says I have left hands, but it's not right. I didn't use it, but I'm going to build something. I don't know what, but I bought it already. So one of the things was I'm very technophobic. Okay. I write on my
Really?
hand, you see, things that I need to do. Um, I don't count on technology because it always failed me in the money time. In my biggest presentation, always
Wow.
was something. In this, she was never my friend. Now, I lost technology when it came to the internet era. But when it came to the mobile, I came back because the mobile and Apple specifically were designed for stupid people like me. It's just pressing things and okay, I'm in my bank. Okay, wow, I can do this. Wow, I can do this in one press. So yes, now I'm very digital. But um, I never was interested in how technology works. I love the outcome of technology and what needs it serves to the human being, and and I never was interested in that. So when my partner and our CEO and my friend and my neighbor Roy Cohen came to me and told me about the idea of trying to create some really high-end digital technology stuff that only he understood what he was telling me. I was my first instinct was, what's for me there? I'm what can I contribute? Okay, I don't. I'm scared of technology. You're talking to me with phrases I don't understand. He's coming from e-commerce for the past 15 years. He understands pricing and tactical pricing and all these equations and reversed auctions and all kinds of really sophisticated phrases. And my first instinct was, no, 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 I can consult you when you're going to want to build a brand and you're going to have this and this, but no, I'm not going to come there and be one of the founders of something like that. And the minute I said it,
Right.
I understood that this is the glass wall I was always waiting for. Okay. To build something that,
Ah,
you know, to deal with money, with investors, with fundraising, me, creative, and to deal with technology and with high-end technology and with phrases that I don't know, and to understand it in a level that I can sit with Michael Matthias and be with enough confidence to talk about technology. Imagine what challenge it was for me three years ago.
wow, Robby, I get so I love this conversation. I love this story. You know, usually most people in your position, they grew up as programmers or as finance people or business people, and they were, working their life building up to this moment where they're gonna, talk about, their journey. And here you are telling me that 3 years ago you were a technophobe, and I just love that. I have to, delay for a second about this idea of breaking glass ceilings. Why? Why is this such a big part of your life?
I think that you can only real live, you can only do it while you're growing. If you're not growing, you're not living, you're existing. Now, you can grow to the sides, but eventually you do the huge steps by growing, by defeating your fears, because you're going to get to learn new aspects of your personality that you never discovered before. And it gives you the appetite to discover more and more before you die, because you understand that you have so many to reveal.
Right. And so now that you're, past this glass ceiling, and I have no doubt that there's going to be more glass ceilings that you're going to break along the way, what do you do? What is it about both, Fetcherr, but also pricing intelligence that really gets you excited?
Okay, first of all, in the army, I served in the intelligence because it's also understanding. I don't know, Siri just pumped in. Siri, close. Okay.
That's what we get with this remote podcast.
Always treacherous.
I love that. We're keeping this in the editing. I love this.
Okay, there's going to be more because she's not living. She's there is this the Siri thing moving there. Okay, so intelligence is also trying to understand what the other side thinking, what his how can you manipulate him, how you can understand the bigger picture, how can you understand between the lines, all the things that interest me since I was young. Now, I heard while I was technophobe, I heard these kind of things of price discrimination. There are big things that were in the news of the algorithms that know who you are and offers you different prices. And this is, for me, it was like, it was like Kasparov looking at Deep Blue. Okay, you remember the machine? Okay, it's like, wow, you're probably better than I, but I want to test you to see how good am I, and to see why does these machines replaced, in the old days when there was a stock market and there was a Mr. Microsoft. If you want Microsoft, you go to this person. In 20 years, he follows it. He's the man. He's 80 years old, but he's doing. So how come a machine knows better than him? Okay. And
right.
When Roy came to me, I love pretentious ideas. I love them. Okay. If somebody comes to me and let's say, let's do a keyboard with a little screen that tells you what you're typing, it's boring for me. Okay. I know that it might be very commercial success, but I'm not interested. I like things, when you're going to ask me at the end, I'm going to spare you this question. People that inspires me, okay, that, are all the people that are trying to leave a little scratch on the globe before they leave. A little. Not everyone succeeded, but in their own place, in their own little bubble, to scratch the world once before they die. So he came to me and he told me, we have 2 more founders. We're 4 founders. It's Roy Cohen, Shimi Avizmil. He's a genius in implementing. He was the head of the financial department in Matrix. So he knows how to deal with very old, heavy structures. And Dr. Uri Yerushalmi, that he's the brain behind this dream. I only know how to talk nice and to make Michael Matthias smile. But eventually, to do this thing, you need the real brain. So Dr. Uri Yerushalmi, when Ro'i let us meet together, I was fascinated because, like myself, he was born in Iran. And he's a computer whiz because he has his first PhD in neuroscience in 2006. One of the first in Israel. And in the past 15 years, he's been the head of the leading companies in Manhattan that does algo trading with the models, that all their job is to understand the market dynamics and demand prediction and continuous pricing. It's war levels in the Star Wars technology, okay? So and he's very humble and all of us are above 45. Okay, we're old farts, and we're there, and we live in the same neighborhood. Our children study in the same classes. We know each other for so many years. Each one of us did a totally different career, and we came up together and we said, what if, like Robin Hood's, there are markets that are very sophisticated, like algo trading, e-commerce, that all the decision-making of pricing and demand prediction and competitor behavior are done by algorithms, okay? But there are huge traditional markets like aviation, banking, hospitality, car rentals, cruises, insurance, okay? Cargo, logistics, that still these decisions are being taken by humans based not on real-time data, report-based. Now, it's amazing to see how huge brands and companies in the world, I'll give you an example. A huge airline company, a 6-star airline, okay, that does more than 25 million passengers a year. The people that are responsible to price, they have average between 15 to 20 people in the department that needs to do more than 100,000 flights. Now, of course, they can't do it. So they take the most wanted ones and they put the price on the other and come to check it after a month. And they can't. It's like a float. Now, in the algo trading, if you go today, you will see huge brains, that neural brains that can absorb so many data points for so many things, whether capital markets, news, pandemic, whatever you want, stock markets, and digest it, correlates it, and try to understand what a human brain cannot do, okay? And to try to understand from all this mess, what will be the demand, what will be the behavior. So we thought, if we can be like Robin Hoods and create one model for all industries, one model, one brain that can migrate easily these markets and give them the abilities of these markets, we will cut all the hubs that grew in the way that are taking the money of the end consumers and the sources. And we can create a world that is much more commoditized, much more advanced, that the companies will gain the best and the end consumer will gain the best. So that was a huge challenge. Imagine how many enemies you're going to put on your head while challenging these industries by giving them, it's like Prometheus giving the fire. Okay, so yes, let's do it. Let's bring the fire and see what happens.
I can't imagine, both the exhilaration, the excitement, but the challenges that come with this. And, I feel like Robby, we're just starting to scratch the surface with what you're doing. But I do have to say that, I'm leaving this conversation with a unique inspiration, about this idea of breaking glass ceilings and, being flexible and open-minded. And I just love the journey that you shared with me. So thank you very, very much. And I have a few final questions. You already answered one of them, but I do have two more questions for you. The first one is going to be, what is your favorite subject or one of your favorite subjects from middle school or high school? I generally prefer middle school. Those are more fun.
From middle school to high school till today, the Bible.
Really? What is it about the Bible?
Imagine that the most intelligent people in history throughout the ages found this book as very relevant to their life in any aspect, in any place in time. So when you read it, and I took the challenge and I read the whole 24 books of the Tanakh because I wanted to see what's the big deal. And it's a big deal. Because once you understand it, you understand that all the changes is instead of Galabia, I'm wearing a t-shirt, and instead of a camel, I have a car. Nothing changes. Your yetzer, your passions, your core values, your lighthouse. I recommend to each and every one of us, before they judge religion and Judaism, read the Bible. The whole 24 books.
Wow. It's a lot of books. I definitely enjoyed my time in those classes as well. And what are 3 words that you would choose to describe yourself? If I were to ask anybody, who is Robby? Who's Robby?
I don't know, but I want to tell you what I trying to do in my life. I don't know if it was absorbed by the society, but what I'm trying to do. Always, always, always be sensitive. Sensitive not by the first meaning, but also meaning that all your senses are all time working. Senses. I'm trying to be very sensitive to people, but to nature and to thoughts and to new ideas and to everything. It's hard because it's easy to stay on one sense, but try to keep all of your senses open, to be very curious, and to keep walking, because I think that you can't really change people, but you can inspire them. So do your thing and
I agree.
Keep walking. Grow.
I love that. Being sensitive, keep working, grow. Robby, I really want to thank you for spending the time with me. I loved it. Thank you very, very much. Definitely the best setting I've seen for an interview here. And stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
You as well. Thank you very much for your time, Michael.
Thank you. Take care.